Unfortunately, today is the last day of snowboarding season here in Ontario, but I'm not quite done with my riding just yet, so I decided to book the cheapest flight I could find from Toronto to Vancouver, which happened to be aboard Flair Airlines, because then, from Vancouver, I'm driving to Whistler for yet another day of snowboarding and fun. But after I'm done snowboarding in beautiful Whistler, I actually decided to treat myself and finish the season in a bit more style, because I'll be traveling back home to Toronto aboard Air Canada's business class. So do you think it's going to be worth the extra money? Well, how about we find that out together? It's early in the morning, but here I am at Toronto's Pearson International Airport, and it's a couple of hours before my flight to Vancouver with Flair. But if you're flying with Flair Airlines, please make sure to check in online. Just ignore their app. It doesn't work. When you try to download it, it says not available in your region, but I'm like, aren't we in Canada and isn't Flair Canadian? Anyways, just use their web check-in, because otherwise, if you come here and you never checked in, then you gotta pay $25. So remember, Flair Airlines is a budget airline and you gotta pay for every single little thing. And since I'm flying to Whistler today, I'm bringing my own snowboard and this personal item. Just make sure that it's actually pretty small, because otherwise you will not be able to get this purple tag, and this will be upgraded to a carry-on for which you'll need to pay more. That's right. What I liked though was that when I was buying my Flair Airlines ticket, I could very easily select that I had no checked bags, but that I had an oversized ski/snowboard bag. And I think maybe all airlines have it, but this was a nice little surprise. I was like, yep, I just have this, no checked bags, and it was pretty cool and convenient. But other than that, I got this tag as well, and everything that I have to do right now is just drop off my snowboard bag in the oversized baggage area. Now, a word of advice from me, and that is, if you're traveling with a heavy snowboard/ski bag, maybe buy a bag with wheels, because then you'll need to haul it across the airport. It gets pretty heavy, but luckily I don't have to go far to actually drop it off. All right, dropped off my oversized bag without any problems. The lady that checked it was actually very nice. She's like, "What are these things?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's just a screwdriver for my bindings." But now I really hope that that bag makes it to Vancouver, because without it, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Anyways, now I actually need to go through security and go to my gate, which I believe is gate C30. I was able to breeze through security in maybe like 3 minutes, and the airport is just a little bit busy this morning, but honestly nothing crazy. And now I'm just walking to my gate C30. Well, walking, in quotes, using this thing. But, you know, by now I have had a couple of interactions with Flair Airlines staff, and honestly, I have nothing bad to say about them. They were actually pretty kind. And actually, that lady that gave me my personal item tag for this bag, she was encouraging me to fit it into this box. She's like, "Oh, just move this stuff a little bit up, a little bit down," and then eventually she was like, "You're good to go. You don't have to pay for it." So, you know, pretty good. Now, I still have about an hour to go, so I think first order of business is actually I need to get some water. And if you're a nav geek like I am, then I downloaded this app called Flighty. And by the way, this is not sponsored. Like nobody paid me to to actually show this. I actually enjoy this app, but it shows you a lot of details about your flight. Now the thing is, if I'm not subscribed to their Pro version, a lot of things are kind of hidden. So let me actually get Pro, and I'll go for $4.99 a month, billed annually. So I think it's gonna be $59.99 per year. All right, let's see some details about this flight. So gate departure in 42 minutes, and it looks like we should be all on time. Arrival forecast, so about 53% late, but we should be okay. The only thing is that we're still waiting for tail number to be assigned, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a 737 MAX 8. Hello, hello.
Hi, hello. Morning. Do you have bags in your backpack?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Again, a very nice gate agent, very kind, no problems there. And now I'm boarding. And the thing is, for some additional peace of mind, I wanted to actually sit by the window, and I actually chose my seat, which is seat 13A, and for that I also had to pay extra. But it's currently about 7:30. The flight is supposed to leave at 7:55, so I think we are on time. 13A. So, sit right here. Nice view.
My name is Dan Schwazla. It's my pleasure to welcome you aboard Flair Airlines Flight 601 with service soon departing for Vancouver. Once we're airborne, it'll be 4 hours and 30 minutes at a cruise altitude of 38,000 feet. Joining me in the flight deck, I have the pleasure of flying with my good friend Vlad. You'll be flying the aircraft to Vancouver this morning. Ayana is your in-flight director. Ayana and her team of professional flight attendants are here for your comfort, but most importantly, for your safety. Soon they will be giving you a safety demonstration. I do ask you to pay close attention, as it does contain some important safety features of this Boeing 737-8 aircraft. I'll talk to you again before our descent into Vancouver with our updated arrival time, as well as some local weather. But for now, I invite you to sit back, relax, enjoy the Flair Airlines hospitality.
Now look at this punctuality. It's currently 8:01 a.m. and we were supposed to leave the gate at 7:55. So we're just a few minutes late, but nothing crazy. I think for a budget airline, it's really, really good. And based on some favorable weather, I think we should be in Vancouver about 37 minutes earlier than originally planned.
So, after taking off, I started looking around my seat. And just like with any economy class, you get this pretty standard tray table with a cutout clear cup. But I was so lucky to find the very first edition of Flair's in-flight magazine called Voyage. And when I opened it, I found a word from their fearless leader, or the current CEO of Flair Airlines, Maciej Wilk. And I'm not quite sure if that's his doing, but apparently, if Flair is at least more than an hour late, then you get a $60 e-voucher. You know, at least you get something. And finally, on the last page of this magazine, you will find their in-flight menu, with some basic snacks and beverages to purchase. Remember, Flair is a budget airline, so nothing is free on board, even water.
And if you're flying with Flair Airlines, most likely you're trying to save as much money as possible, so I have 2 additional pieces of advice for you. First one is bring your own water bottle. You cannot bring any water through security, but then after you pass it, there's a bunch of water fountains where you can fill it for free, or just buy a big bottle of water, because otherwise, if you want to get it here, it's $3.99 for a bottle of Dasani. And if you know that you're going to get hungry, you can buy some overpriced noodles here, but instead, I made this delicious sandwich myself, which I'm going to have now with my delicious water. Now it's time for a mandatory washroom check. Alright, not too bad. Take a look. You get this tiny little sink, soap, and then the actual toilet. But overall, I would say pretty clean with some napkins. A lot of people were saying that washrooms are a biohazard. I don't know. I think, honestly, so far Flair has been exceeding my expectations.
But still, of course there are signs that it's a budget airline. You get these pretty normal seats, and there's actually a button to press for them to recline. But unfortunately, nothing happens when you press on it, so you're stuck with your seat totally upright.
One thing that you will definitely not find here is onboard Wi-Fi. Even for a fee, there's just no internet, so keep that in mind.
Also, I find that with any brand new kind of mid-size airliner, there is no netting here to put your stuff in. And instead, you get this tiny little pocket on top with a bunch of literature inside. And in addition to the in-flight magazine I showed you earlier, you get this pretty barf bag and this safety card. As you can see, not a lot of entertainment, so ensure to bring your own. And finally, in terms of space for your legs, well, I'm 5'7". I found it to be pretty okay, but if you're on the taller side, you might find it a bit cramped.
Welcome to Vancouver. The local time is 9:43 a.m. On behalf of the captain and your in-flight crew, thank you for traveling with Flair Airlines.
And when we pulled to the gate, people were super happy we made it to Vancouver.
You know, it doesn't matter how many times I travel. You know what I never understand? Let me show you. We arrived to our gate maybe like a minute ago, but the entire plane already got up and just waiting at the door. I don't know. And also just to show you how punctual Flair was, we arrived 27 minutes early. Welcome to Vancouver. After pretty much everybody deplaned, I was almost the last one to get out. I'm now walking to carousel number 3 because that's where I'm supposed to expect my snowboard. And you cannot believe how many things I have to say after this flight, but not specifically about the airline, because that comparison I'm going to do towards the end of the video, where I'm going to compare Flair Airlines versus Air Canada. But I have a lot to say about people. And let me get to carousel number 3 first, and then I'll tell you all about it. Actually, looks like I was wrong. Oversized baggage is carousel number 9, and look at this. This is my snowboard. Let's see. Is everything... Oh, yeah, everything looks okay. Nice and intact. Okay, so let me tell you all about people now, because then the next step of this adventure would be renting a car and driving to Whistler. I'm having a bit of a nostalgia right now because about 10 years ago I was standing right over there waiting for my guide that'll take us to this shuttle, and the shuttle will take us to the University of British Columbia, but maybe that's a whole other video. Anyways, people. My main question is, why do people lose their senses of humanity, of normal behavior, and just etiquette when they travel by plane? Why is it that as soon as they step on board the plane, it's completely okay to leave garbage everywhere? It's totally fine to watch movies on your iPad at like full blast without any headphones. It's also totally okay to let your kids kick the back of the seat without any repercussions. I just don't understand like what changes when people travel by plane. And then I think this cascades to negative reviews online. And let me actually read this review from Jessica that left a review for Flair Airlines on TripAdvisor. The title is Terrible Airline. Terrible, terrible airlines. Delayed both ways on our trip. Delays I cannot speak to because, again, delays do happen, but my plane was totally fine. But then the review goes into, LOL, you have to pay $59 per bag for carry-on. Again, Flair clearly states that online, how much you need to pay. $300 roughly each way for 4 checked bags. Again, Flair clearly states how much it's gonna cost. Then don't travel? Super slow service on the plane, very uncomfortable seats, like super basic. What do you mean super basic? It's the exact same seats you'll find on 737 MAX aboard Air Canada in economy or WestJet. Food options were microwaved noodles and microwaved mac and cheese, and like candy. Absolutely never again. Made a simple 5-hour flight, be all day. Such a horrible experience. So then I read this review and I'm like, Jessica, well then upgrade to business. Fly with Air Canada or WestJet. Why do you fly with Flair then? The point of Flair is to kind of give you control of everything. If you travel light, you are not going to pay a lot for your flight. It's going to be pretty cheap. But then, of course, things accumulate if you add checked bags and everything, but you are in control. Anyways, towards the end of the video, I'm going to make a side-by-side comparison between Flair and Air Canada, but a bit of a spoiler alert, Flair was excellent. I liked it a lot, but about that a bit later. Now, let's go rent a car and drive to Whistler. I rented a car through Thrifty and at a big discount actually. I'll tell you a little later how I did it, but for now, I actually need to pick it up.
So this car just goes straight to the parking spot number 3.
3, awesome. Perfect. Thanks so much, Alan. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Don't forget your...
Yep, I won't. Thank you so much. Bye. It's this beautiful and powerful white Toyota Corolla. Wow, so clean, so nice. Okay. Okay, that's it. Let's hit the road. And while I was driving on Sea to Sky Highway, I stumbled accidentally upon Sea to Sky Gondola. And it goes all the way up into those rocks. I don't know where else it goes, but that's crazy. It's so steep. I'm not gonna go up there today, but honestly, this looks crazy. Welcome to Whistler, everybody. I actually booked a hotel for myself. And that hotel is called Pangea Pod Hotel. They actually don't have rooms, they only have pods, which I'm going to show you later how they look like. But also, I booked a parking for one night for this car, and they told me that my parking spot number is 68. So please, be on the lookout for parking spot 68. Thank you. All right, so I think Pangea Pod Hotel parking is here. Blackcomb Hotel, Pangea Pod Hotel. Oh, that's the one. I need to go here. 68 is reserved and there's somebody parked in my spot, looks like it. Actually, never mind. I just checked my documents and instead of spot 68, they changed it to spot 102. And spot 102 was easily and readily available. So we should be all good. All right, suites D. Yeah, I need D. I think, is this D? Yeah, this is D. So I think I go through here. Oh. Welcome to pod 27. Unfortunately, I cannot speak very loud in here because people are resting. But in here, you will find a few things. You will find a mirror.
you will find this image of the Tower Bridge, which is interesting considering we are in Whistler. Then we have these instructions on how to use these pods. We have a couple of shelves, we have 2 outlets, then we have a few hangers and hooks and a curtain, a couple of pillows, mattress, and a blanket. So this place is designed for you to kind of crash and sleep pretty much. And there are common washrooms downstairs as well as a bar. So I think I am going to go downstairs, maybe grab a bite to eat because I'm hungry again, and then maybe explore Whistler Village a little bit. So I'll see you over there.
It's about 7 p.m. right now, and it's crazy how busy Whistler Village is. Like, people are lined up to get into restaurants. I guess it's time for après-ski, but I'm on my way to go grab a quick bite somewhere, I don't know where yet, and then I think I'm gonna go to bed because I woke up at 4 a.m. today, and tomorrow I have another early wake-up call because tomorrow is a day of snowboarding and actually flying back home to Toronto. So with that, I'll see you tomorrow, early in the morning, on the slopes. Good morning. I am reporting live from the base camp of Whistler Village Gondola, and it's about 7 a.m. in the morning. I think it opens at 8 or 8:30, but people are already lined up to get in. So I think what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to go change into my snowboarding outfit and probably going to go stand in line with all of these people because today is going to be amazing. Just look at all of this beautiful snow. Fully equipped and ready to go. And I remember I was thinking, I'm like, I wish there will be just a little bit of snow when I'm gonna be here. But Jesus Christ, not that much snow. I just cannot imagine what's gonna be like on top of the mountain. And never been to a place where they have avalanche control in progress, so... Jesus. Yeah, I think there's just so much snow, but the plan is to take this Blackcomb gondola up to the Rendezvous Lodge. From there, I'll take world-famous peak-to-peak gondola to the Roundhouse Lodge, and then I'll try to get down the mountain. But yeah, incredible amount of snow in here. It's currently Sunday, and not that crowded, but still, I think I'll have to wait in line for a little bit. And after about 20 minutes, I made it all the way up to the Rendezvous Lodge, and it's crazy. The weather here is completely different. It's really windy, it's cold, and I need to have my goggles down because the snow is just hitting my eyes really, really hard. But it was always my dream, and today I'm going to take this peak-to-peak gondola, which is actually the highest and the longest lift of its kind in the entire world. It spans the length of about 4.4 kilometers, and the gondolas themselves travel at about 500 meters above the ground, which is kind of crazy. I actually cannot believe that I'm riding in the biggest resort in North America, because the reason why I decided to get into snowboarding in the first place was actually thanks to my parents, who took me to this resort called Bobrovy Log or to translate from Russian, Beaver's Home. And actually take a look at the size of that resort versus Whistler. We did not even have green runs over there, just I had to learn on blues pretty much right away. But it's crazy to think about it. I definitely could never imagine hitting the slopes of Whistler ever in my life. Also, I found this video of me learning how to snowboard, and look, no helmet. And also, I found this photo of me from 14 years ago. Do you notice any similarities to today? That's right. This jacket that I'm wearing today is actually 14 years old. Also, after riding in Whistler now, I cannot imagine myself riding anywhere else, like on Mount St. Louis in Ontario, or even Mount Tremblant in Quebec. The only deterrent about Whistler is actually the cost, because for a lift ticket for just one day, I paid $306.50, and $6.50 of that was actually for shipping that I couldn't get out of. They said that they had to ship my ski pass to me, and that shipping was not even free. So yeah, it gets expensive very quickly. And with that, I think that my day at Whistler is coming to an end. I'm just walking back to my car because I gotta start packing all my gear, as well as start driving back to Vancouver. And I think in this weather, it's gonna take me longer than yesterday. So I'll see you when I hit the Sea to Sky Highway.
And I'm on my way back now to Vancouver, and I think it's time to start talking about Air Canada. So, two things. First one is, online check-in opened 24 hours prior to my flight, but I just never had a chance to check in. I was busy snowboarding and everything, so I think I actually need to speak to one of their agents, because as part of my business class fare, I get access to 2 checked bags. But even when I was buying my ticket, there was no option to select like oversized baggage, like I had it with Flair. Like I could select, I have a skiing/snowboard bag. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, a few days before my flight, they sent me an email saying, Andreas, you now have food options available for your upcoming flight. I'm like, huh, cool. So I wonder what kind of options am I going to have? It's an overnight flight, so probably breakfast, right? Yes, it was breakfast, but when I tried to choose what I wanted to have, there was only one option, parsley omelette, and that's it, nothing else. So I'm like, why would you send me that email then? Anyways, so I think I'm having parsley omelette on this flight. But I still have quite a bit of distance to cover to get back to Vancouver, and it's crazy to imagine that yesterday it was completely dry, and today it's raining and snowing cats and dogs. So I guess that's British Columbia for you.
Don't wanna close my eyes, I'm scared I'll miss too much. Don't wanna fall asleep, I'd rather fall in love. Cause eternity with you ain't long enough. 2 seconds without you's like 2 months, and that's too much.
Just dropped off my beautiful white and powerful Toyota Corolla and successfully got back to gorgeous, nice and fresh Vancouver. But now it's time to check in into my Air Canada flight back to Toronto. Yes, that's me, seat 1A. Continue. Okay, please select the number of bags. I think this one. Oh, okay, cool. Should I select a surfboard? Yeah. Oh, perfect. Surf equipment. And I also got this boarding pass. Cool, so let's attach everything now. Bye bag. Dropped off my snowboard bag without any problems. Staff was super helpful. Now I find a little bit of difference in customer service. They were really nice and really, really attentive, and they showed me kind of everything. And then I just waved my bag goodbye. The only thing is that I had to select that it was a surfing thing rather than a snowboard or ski, but whatever. Same difference. You know what surprises me? Look how empty this is. There's like literally nobody. But passed through security in maybe, I don't know, 15 seconds. This was very quickly. I had no idea that Vancouver Airport actually has a small waterfall in here. Wow. But I'm feeling, fatigue is really starting to set in. I need to think twice as hard to be able to form sentences. So I'm really, really excited that I chose to fly back in business on my way back, because I cannot wait to just recline, relax, and have my delicious parsley omelette. I am also not sure if I get access to their business class lounge. Like, in theory I should, but it says Airplan Super Elite members. I'm not a Super Elite member, but let me ask. Hello. Oh, thank you so much. I got in. I think this should be a better business lounge than Via Rail's one in Montreal. And if you haven't seen that video, I'm going to link that here, I think, or here, or both sides. But this is my first business class lounge, like a proper one. Oh my God. There's so much food. You fly in economy so much that you forget that nice things actually exist. You just gotta pay more for them, but I'm just enjoying my self-made taco. I got myself some sweets, some latte, and some sparkling water. And I'm trying to be kind of mindful about filming here, just to respect people's privacy, but the lounge is nice. There's a lot of sections with comfortable seating where you can just kind of relax. There's a buffet where you can make your own salad, tacos. You can also grab some wine, beer. Seems like somebody grabbed too much wine. You can grab some alcoholic drinks, you can grab some juices, and as I said, sweets. Washrooms are really, really nice. And I arrived about 2.5 hours before my flight, so I can kind of appreciate the beauty of this lounge and actually enjoy some of those things. And honestly, by now I'm feeling that my fatigue is just melting away. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. They even remove your dishes. And Zone 1 is now boarding. Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's nice when you're boarding first. Just relaxing, no crowds. Hello, hello. My seat 1A. Looks like due to some Pearson regulations on early morning arrivals, we had to depart a little later as well. And we just started pushing back about 20 minutes after we were supposed to already, I think, take off. So, a bit of a delay.
Mr. Riddell?
Yeah.
Would you like to join us for a drink after takeoff?
Sure.
Anything? What would you like?
What do you have?
Up to you for drinks.
Actually, can I have some apple juice afterwards? Yeah, thank you so much.
Would you like me to wake you up for breakfast?
I'm not going to be sleeping, I think. So, but yeah, breakfast sounds good. Yeah.
So I'll wake you.
Thank you, thank you.
Hi, Mr. Buck.
pressed on this button and I reclined my seat all the way back. However, then I pressed on this button, which pulled up an additional leg rest and made this seat so much more comfortable. But now, I wanted to get out my super fancy tray table, which felt to be super gigantic, because at that time, flight attendants were ready to start serving some snacks. And with my most favorite activity, which is looking at this moving map, I was now enjoying my apple juice and piping hot almonds and some other types of nuts. But of course, as soon as you start drinking or consuming any type of food, it becomes shaky. So we were actually in turbulence throughout the whole flight. But not a problem, because even though I could enjoy thousands of different movies, I still preferred to look at this moving map. And actually, speaking of entertainment, there is Wi-Fi on board. For 1 hour of Wi-Fi, you need to pay $10.25. But for the full flight, it's $18. But here I actually decided not to purchase any pack because I just didn't need it.
And of course, we cannot ignore the washroom test. And you can see there's some maple leaves in here, and there's a mirror, there's a sink, some water, some nice soap, some paper towels, nice and clean toilet, and that's pretty much it. And then some mirrors. So overall, size-wise, everything is pretty much the same as aboard Flair, but nonetheless, it's nice and clean.
I came back to my seat and I think I slept for a bit more than an hour, which felt absolutely amazing. But then I woke up to this incredible sunrise view, which also meant that it was now time for breakfast. And what was for breakfast? Oh, you guessed it right. It was parsley omelette. And in addition to my omelette, I had some sausages, potatoes, a hot piece of bread, some fruits, oranges, kiwis, strawberries, some jam, apple juice, and a vanilla yogurt. And I don't know, maybe because I was hungry or maybe because I was in business class, but I completely devoured that food. It was delicious. It was probably one of the best meals I've ever had aboard any plane. And I think my empty plate is clearly showing you here how good that food was. And with that, we pulled to the gate just 2 minutes later than scheduled, so we were pretty much perfectly on time.
And just landed in Toronto. And now the final piece, which is picking up my snowboard. Just a quick word of caution, and if you are traveling with oversized luggage, you should not pick it up at the regular carousel. For example, it says Carousel 3, Flight Air Canada 126, pick up everything here. But in fact, oversized luggage needs to be picked up from there. And that'll be the case for every single airport. Like the oversized luggage area is usually somewhere else. So just keep that in mind. And it made it. About 20 minutes of waiting. And my, what does it say here? My surf. Let's take a look. Yeah, safe and sound. Awesome. Thank you, Air Canada. And now that I have everything with me, let's actually conclude this video by fully comparing these two different experiences, two different airlines and two different classes. So Flair's economy class versus Air Canada's business class. And first, let's talk about price. For my Flair Airlines economy class ticket with an oversized snowboard bag, I paid $226.51. Whereas for my Air Canada's business class ticket, also with an oversized snowboard bag, I paid $828.93. So since I paid for my business class ticket 4 times as much, was it 4 times better? And my answer, I think, would be no. For example, aboard Air Canada, I did have a pretty nice seat, but it was not a lie flat one. I know it was not a transatlantic flight, but it was, nothing too crazy. It was comfortable, but nothing too crazy. I think the biggest highlight for me was actually this incredible lounge in Vancouver's airport. And aboard the flight attendants were asking about my drink choices, but in terms of food itself, there was just one option: parsley omelette. I think what I liked about Flair in this scenario was actually, again, they give you a lot of control. If you wanted to purchase additional checked bags, go for it. If you wanted to purchase additional snacks on board, go for it. Otherwise, you can save as much money as possible. In terms of punctuality, both airlines were on time. Flair arrived to Vancouver actually 27 minutes early, whereas Air Canada arrived to Toronto precisely on time. And my luggage, so my oversized snowboard bag, was safe and sound with both airlines. And now if you're preparing for your next flight, and if you were to do an online search comparing Flair Airlines versus Air Canada, you will find Flair very deep in the rock bottom. But honestly, I think it was not half as bad. And next time, if I wanted to fly somewhere in Canada or to the US or somewhere in the Caribbean, and if I wanted to save as much money as possible, I would fly with Flair in a heartbeat. But now, I think business class to me makes so much sense, but only in 2 cases. The first case is you don't care about money. You spend it left and right, and you just live your life in comfort, and you just don't care about money at all. But the second case is when your company pays for it. And now business class actually makes a lot of sense because you arrive to your meetings nice and refreshed. So when you pay for it personally, I think it's just a little too much. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on my next adventure. I just don't know where it's going to be yet, so feel free to suggest one in the comments. So until next time, bye.